We are coming at you guys today because we have a big event this weekend. We have our very first Savage race of 2020 because unfortunately we had to postpone at least 7 events now. Starting to lose count, but at least 7 events. And we put together a comprehensive safety plan. The team spent a lot of time and effort putting together a robust safety plan, includes social distancing, some mask wearing, things like that. But we were doing what we have to do in order to get this event off the ground. So this call right now is, I'm here with Jeff Meeks, who's our race MC, and I'm here with Lee Stowell, who is race director for Savage Race, and I'm Sam Abbott, CEO and co-founder. And there's going to be some changes to this event because if that was sort of the way it went down with coronavirus, the only way we were going to be able to do this event is if we made some modifications to some changes. Yesterday I went live and I put together, I went live with Lloyd and Sean, and we put together a whole nother video for all the participants. But this one that we're doing right now, this is specific to the Pro Wave, right, guys?
Yes.
So the Pro Wave is going to be done differently because normally, if you've done this event before, you know that we usually start everyone at the same time. So we might have 200 or 300 pros all go at the same time. And that generally makes things easier because everyone starts at once. Because of the social distancing restrictions that we're having to follow for this event, we can only let 25 people go at a time. So that changes things a little bit, but not too much. So we're gonna just kind of go over some of those adjustments. First and foremost, probably the biggest thing that you might notice is we emailed out a survey and we're asking everyone to give us your 5-mile time. And we're going to use your 5-mile time to sort you according to speed and age group to try to put what we think the people that you will be competing with in your wave or as close to your wave as possible. It won't always work out this way 100%, but we're trying to do the best we can, given that we're doing groups of 25, to get the people who are competing with each other together. So there's a lot more detail about this written up in the instructions we sent. So we're not going to get into the nitty gritty of every little thing, but we definitely encourage you to read all the updates we've sent since there's so many changes for this year, even if you're someone who's coming back for a second or third time. But just wanted to hit some of the highlights. So there's that, and in a minute here I'm going to kick it over to Lee, but I want to see a couple other quick details I want to hit before I do that. If you think that you are fast enough to finish first, second, and third overall, or if you have ever finished first, second, or third overall as a male or a female in any Savage race before, make sure you indicate that in the survey. We want to make sure you're in the 9 a.m. wave, because to get first, second, or third overall, I'm not talking about all the age groups, I'm just talking about like overall finishers. We want you to be in that 9 a.m. wave to make sure that those fastest people are all competing directly against each other head to head. For the rest of the waves, and even for that wave, even if you start in that wave and you don't finish overall, you're still going to qualify for age group based on your chip time. So for 95% of the Pro Wave, you're just going off of chip time, so it doesn't really matter when you start. That's how you're going to be ranked in your age group. But again, if first, second, or third gun time, first wave, you got to be there at 9. So make sure if you're fast enough to do that, make sure to let us know. Besides that, mostly all the typical pro rules will apply for this event. There are some new obstacles that folks in Illinois may not have seen before. So I'm going to let Lee take over for a minute and tell us about some of these new obstacles, and also if there's anything different about the venue or the course this time. Not so much about the changes and updates we're making because of coronavirus. They can find out about that in the other video. But Lee, why don't you tell us a little more about just the course and these new obstacles and other things that the pros can expect?
Sure. All right, pro savages and all other savages that are listening. We got all your old favorites like Wheel World, Sawtooth, Barn Doors, and a couple of new goodies here for 2020. Anchors Away, which is a rig type obstacle where you actually carry the accessory with you across. We have Scorn Hole. You may have seen us testing that. It's a Plinko type obstacle where you throw the ball up into a hole. It sounds easy, but it's not quite as easy as you might think. We also have Battering Bird, which is a combo of two of our best obstacles together. So Battering Ram and Twirly Bird combined into one. So those should be a lot of fun. I also have one more that is new, has the same title as one we used before, but you'll enjoy the variation of it when you get to the course. I don't want to tell you too much about it right now. So the course itself, we've actually gone to quite a few new areas. The mining operation they had on site has ended, and that opened up a lot of opportunities for us to use different areas. I was able to squeeze some more elevation out of it and open up a few new areas in the junior area that we were able to really make use of with the course. We are going into the corn maze, so when you're going through there, just be nice to the corn, don't stop it, and enjoy getting through there. We do have a lot of large obstacles near festival, so if you are watching your friends or if you're competing, then you'll be able to see everyone else around you and they'll be able to see you. Nice flat open ground. It's going to be really enjoyable. We also have two separate rigs, so that'll be pretty challenging. If a rig is one of your favorite kind of obstacles, then you're going to be in heaven for this one. That being said, it should be pretty nice out, so come and enjoy the fun. I think it's going to be one of our best courses yet. Sadly, I wish we could get everybody that we've ever had at any Savage race to come for this one, but just the diehards. I'll see you guys there.
That's right. And one other thing on the obstacles, Lee, tell them about the water obstacles we'll have.
Yes. So for the most part, the water obstacles that we are including are the pits underneath rig tap obstacles. So if you fail, you'll be in the water. We do not have Shriveled Richard. We do not have Davy Jones Locker, where it's a mandatory submersion. We do have Colossus. So that will be where you go up the ramp and slide down into the slide. We are going to be spreading you out at the top of the ramp. Make sure nobody's falling and land on top of each other. And everything is going to be heavily chlorinated, very clean. We're actually cycling it now. So should be safe and lots of fun.
Awesome. Yeah, so the water obstacles are for this weekend are Wheel World, Rig Over Water, Colossus, and what am I missing? Sawtooth.
Yes.
Cool. All right, Jeff, why don't you just give us a rundown of the pro rules?
I sure will. Thank you, Sam. I just want to say hi to all the Savages out there. Very excited to see you all. It's been feels certainly longer than the several months since we've seen you. I know some of you have been training all year. Some of you just started your training a week ago and you think you can make the podium. Hey, we'll find out 3 days. So returning pros, same rules are in effect for Savage Chicago 2020. If you're new, this is your first time in the pro wave, listen up. So probably the most important rule, no teamwork. There's no assistance to be given or received from any Savage to another in the pro wave. You complete the entire course on your own individual. You will be given 2 timing chips. One is your standard timing chip that we keep track of your total race time. The other is your pro timing chip. At an obstacle, if you fail at an obstacle, you can reattempt that obstacle as many times as you need to get through it properly. Every obstacle must be completed in the manner in which it was designed from one end to the other. If you are not able to successfully complete an obstacle even after multiple reattempts, then you take that secondary timing chip, the Velcro banded timing chip, you take it off and you drop it in the black bucket with the black flag at that obstacle that we call the fail pail. You may resume your race. You still may be in medal contention for your age group. But from that point forward, you'll be considered non-obstacle completed, right? And as you know, here at Savage Race, obstacle completion trumps time. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Again, every obstacle to be completed as designed. In other words, if there's a brace, when you come up to, say, the Great Wall, the braces that keep that wall upright are off limits. You cannot use that to hoist yourself up to grab the lip of the wall to get over. You've got to complete that obstacle organically, as we say. Keep it real. Never have a problem with this. No intentionally impeding or obstructing another savage. All of our savages are pretty amazing. We never have an issue with that, and don't expect it in Chicago. Several of our obstacles have a bell. You've got to get from one side of the obstacle to the other. You have to ring the bell before your feet touch the ground. While you're hanging there, you may ring the bell with any body part you can get over to that bell, but it must be audible, must be rung before your feet touch, and you may resume your race from there. Let me see. Anything else? No teamwork. Let's talk about equipment, right? You must finish with all of your equipment that you begin with. You cannot have any equipment out waiting for you on the course that you finished with that you did not have at the start of the race. Same thing is true. You cannot be missing any equipment, i.e. shoes, at the end of the race that you started with at the beginning. If the shoe pops off in the mud, you got to fish it out, put it back on, or carry it and finish with it. Other than that, Sam, I think that wraps up the pro rules. We're looking forward to seeing everybody this weekend in Chicago.
Okay, and
I have a couple notes.
Go ahead, Lee.
On scoring hole, if you fail the first time, just stand there, keep going, keep hitting it till you nail it. Don't give up. I mean, you can give up if you want, but don't do it. Also, on the Savage rig, there'll be a couple of ropes, vertical and also one horizontal. You are allowed to use your feet on the ropes, but when you see like a small handle, obviously you don't want to use your feet on that. So be selective with where you use your feet. It should be pretty obvious, but one thing I wanted to point out is that the rope at the very end of the rig, you can use your feet on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. And also scoring hole. For those of you who have seen that obstacle, got great reviews. Everybody loves it. You have two balls that you have to pick up. They're weighted. They're medicine balls. We have a guys and a girls. Girls ball will have a pink spot, a pink stripe on it. It is obvious. Girls, that's what you use. Guys, you use the bigger, heavier black ball. One shot, get it in, and get on.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
To be clear, you get more.
You don't have one shot, but I'm hoping it only takes one shot for you, but it might take more than one for some of you. You know who you are.
Yeah, and one of the reasons we're making the distinction about how many shots is because when we tested this obstacle in Florida, and at that event, I think we limited the number of throws, but we are removing that limitation for this event. So you can have unlimited number of throws.
And you can just keep on banging, keep on hucking that thing up in there until you get it. But like Jeff was saying, you'll probably get it in the first try. It's the power of positive thinking.
That's it. And power of your hips.
Yes, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. A couple other things I want to hit real quick. And again, watch the other video I posted because it's going to have more detail on this. But one of the conditions of being able to do this event, we worked really closely with the village of Spring Grove and various health officials, and it was important to them that when people were not on the race course that they're wearing masks. So we're going to have a hard time continuing to do events if we can't get people to follow these rules. So we really need you to follow the mask wearing rules. And basically you need to have a mask on anytime you're not on the course. So once you get into the start corral, you'll have the opportunity to remove your mask. And when you finish the race, you need to put it back on. So we're asking folks to bring their own and to be responsible for those. Like one good way to keep up with that is, just get one of those tiny little medical masks that are easy to fold up, put it in a Ziploc baggie, stuff it in a pocket, or in your spandex or whatever works for you. And then you'll have it at the end of the race. We will have some masks near the finish line, but we're asking people, it really helps us a lot if you can kind of track your own masks. But if you lose it on the course or something like that, just come find one of us. We'll be at the finish line. We'll have some for you.
One thing I wanted to point out for pros, keep your mask on until you get into the corral. Until you actually enter the corral, you're considered in the festival area and you must have your mask on. So you won't be able to just drop it at bag check and walk over. You'll have to keep it on until you enter. And then once you're in the crowd, then you can take it off to proceed into the course.
Yeah, that's right. And look, we're required to enforce this, and the last thing we want to do is enforce this. So please just work with us. I mean, it's not something that we love, but we do love hosting events. And so if this is what it takes, this is what we're going to do. We have a question in the comments from Chris. Chris asked, what's the plan for line bottlenecks, say at Colossus, which can get busy? Any reminders to line up 6 feet apart and wait turns? So the answer to that is that obstacle and others will have signs, small signs put in the ground every 6 feet, wait here type signs. You'll see those very similar to what you might see at the grocery store or anywhere else you've been recently. They're going to be spaced 6 feet apart. But another big thing is we're only letting 300 people in an hour, and 25 people, that's 25 people every 5 minutes. This event's going to be a lot smaller than maybe some that you've been into in the past. So just sort of as a function of not having as many people per hour, that's going to really cut down on some of those lines. But then also we're going to have some of those spacing signs. And then, after that, like the onus really just comes down to the racer and common courtesy. Like when you're out on course, just practice social distancing. Obviously, like if you're there with your wife, you're going to, or your husband, you're going to be with her or him closer. But, if it's someone you don't know, maintain that social distancing, like do it on your own. Like you don't have to look down and see a sign that says 6 feet, like just use common sense. Like you've probably been doing everywhere else in your life.
Hey, Sam, I've got real quick for the Savage Pros, a couple things. First, the official course distance, 6.2 miles. And this is new, I believe, for 2020. Time limit is 2 hours. Savage Pros, you have 2 chip time hours from the time your chip crosses the start line, 2 hours that you have before you come in. And if I could say this, Sam, about the seating email that you sent with the 5 mile time and so forth, here's a dynamic that might be a little different from Savage Waves past. When you're used to racing alongside a competitor that you've competed against in other Savage races, and you judge your performance, how hard to push or when to let up based on your competitor, just know this, Savages, when you come up to that familiar face, you may not be sure if they started before you or after you. So this race, strategy-wise, is against the clock more than it is your fellow Savage. So you're going to push it based on the clock, and good luck to you.
Yeah, thank you. And you reminded me of a couple things with that, Jeff. So the 3 hours, it was a 3 hour finish time last year. We're moving it to 2 hours. The reason for this is, first of all, most of you finished within 2 hours, so it really didn't matter that much. But we're also trying to finalize the awards sooner so that you don't have to hang around as long. And given our attendance limits and capacity on site, we're encouraging people when they're done with their event to wrap it up and head out. I mean, normally before coronavirus, we want you to stay around, hang out as long as you want. But now since we're limited to capacity, we're trying to get the awards going sooner. And then that brings me to the awards. We're not going to do an award ceremony the way that we have in the past because we can't have everyone there at the same time. And so as you finish, we're going to be posting the awards and you can claim them at the syndicate tent. So that'd be the place where you would buy your future pass or pick up your syndicate medals. we'll have the finisher awards there, and you'll be able to, you might like it, you'll be able to collect your awards sooner rather than, wait until later in the day like we did in prior years. Got another question from Jay Flores. He's asking, where do we leave masks in the corral? So again, I'm asking you to actually carry the mask with you on the course, however you can. I did another event about a month ago. I wore a buff around my neck and I pulled it up when I finished. The only thing about that is the buff will get wet in this race, so you got to think about that. The other thing you can do is just, I think just a small medical mask or one or two of them, put it in a Ziploc baggie and figure out somewhere to stuff it, in your shoe, in your pants, in your pocket, whatever works for you. That way you'll have it. You can just put it away at the start line and you'll be able to get right to it at the finish line. But if you lose it, it's not the end of the world. We'll be able to, we have masks we can give you. We just really don't want to have to supply masks for everyone. So if you can do us a favor and maintain your own, that'd be very helpful. Let's see if we have any other comments or questions on the chat. I'm kind of having.
Let's hear some comments.
What's that? Chris, yeah, I mean, a lot of enthusiastic folks about the event. I'm actually struggling right now, guys. My internet's having a little trouble. For some reason, this is working, but I can't load the comments right now. So,
well, hey, Savage, Sam, I've had a couple Savages ask me, can I earn my syndicate this weekend in Chicago? Can you share that?
Oh, absolutely. So there's a couple different ways you can earn your syndicate in Chicago. So first of all, a lot of people did Savage Anywhere already this year. And if they did that, all they have to do is just finish the race and they get their Savage syndicate. Another way you could get it is you could run 2 laps this weekend, and that's still an option. So this video is for the pros. So if you ran the pro heat and then you signed up for another wave, you could run another wave after your pro heat's finished and earn your syndicate that way. Another way you could earn your syndicate is, say this is your first, say you haven't done a Savage Anywhere yet, you could run 1 lap this weekend and then sign up for your Savage Anywhere any other time this year. There's a lot of ways now. I mean, we've made it a lot easier with Savage Anywhere. Let me rephrase. We haven't made it easier. We've given you more options, because Savage Anywhere is very hard. So it's definitely not easier, but there's especially for folks in places like Illinois, where we only come once a year, there's more opportunities to earn your syndicate. But certainly I shouldn't say easier.
Simpler.
Any other thoughts, guys? I'm trying to load these comments here. Maybe someone else can load them. I'm sorry if anyone else wrote a comment, it's just, they're just not loading for me, but we will address your questions in the comments on that Facebook post. We're going to save this video and I'm going to email it out to everyone. So even the people who aren't watching right now will get a chance to review this. And of course, you can always contact us on Facebook or write in through the support channels, support@savagerace.com to contact us there. All right, guys, I think we crushed it. Jeff, Lee, you guys are awesome professionals for sure. And thanks for helping me out with this.
You're welcome, sir.
All right. Thank you.
See y'all. See you,
Bring
Savages.
your grip strength.
All right. See you guys this weekend.
All right.
Bye.